Life is precious, and we all have the opportunity of living it to the fullest. Unfortunately, so few of us know how to manage it all. How do we account for our opportunities? How do we account for our time? How do we account for our relationships, health, spirituality, homes, finances, influence, and careers? How do we account for the one life we have to live? I am so glad you asked. In this program, you will find answers to all of these questions and more. Welcome to the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore.
What's happening, everybody? I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. Jay Moore, the healthy accountant, helping you to account for your life with an awesome and incredible day. Here's what we're talking about: what an ant can teach us about management, guys. We're going to look at this tiny creature that probably knows more about management than many of us, if we all put our heads together. So let's jump right into this. So there's a scripture in Proverbs, and I'm gonna pull it up real quick. There's a scripture in Proverbs 6 verse 6 through 8. And here's what it says. Go to the ant, you sluggard, consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest. And I've read this many times. I haven't been reading Proverbs as much as I used to, but I've read it many times. Proverbs 6 through 8. And it's talking about this ant, this creature. And this particular creature knows a lot more about management than we do. Why? Because the ant is preparing in good times. The ant is always wondering, saying to themselves, winter is coming, hard times are coming. And even in good times, they're preparing for bad times. So if we just think about our money, our finances, our businesses, if we're looking to manage our businesses better, then wouldn't like if you're having a good year, you had a great year this year, 2022 was great, but were you preparing for the bad times? Were you thinking like Joseph in the story of Joseph? As kingdom people and Christian people, a lot of pastors, they preach on Joseph all the time. Joseph was a manager. Joseph understood something called management, and that's what he went to Pharaoh with. Once he interpreted the dreams and Pharaoh brought him in, Joseph became the greatest manager of all times. Why? Because what he saw was, you know what? We're going to have some good years. And you know what? We're going to have some bad years. And those bad years are coming. So we should prepare for the bad years. And I'm going to say this, right? It's interesting because you learn the things that we learn in life. A lot of times we learn from the environments that we're in. The ant, like all the ants are going around looking for food. All the ants are preparing their nest, preparing whatever they have to do, because they know that at some point they're going to have to use whatever it is that they're building. They're going to need the food. Joseph put away 20%. Joseph put away 20% of everything in good times. And I'm thinking about, man, like what environment are we in that's teaching us that? Yeah, absolutely, right? Because I didn't learn it. Like I didn't grow up with the spoon in my mouth. I didn't, just because I'm an accountant, right? Hey, I'm an accountant, right? And accountants should be really good managers, which a lot of times they're really good managers of your stuff. But here's the thing. There's been some scandals inside of accounting, a lot of scandals in accounting. And then even the scandals you've never heard of, there's a lot of scandal inside of the industry of accounting. How do I know that? Just because I've been an accountant for many years. And I could have probably been in a scandal. Right? Because just because someone is supposed to do something doesn't mean they do it. But it's the person that can do it, and they don't need anybody to tell them what to do. So think about this. If you hired somebody in your business, right? If you hired somebody in your business, do you want the kind of person that you can hire them and you don't have to tell them anything? You just say, this is the job. Think about what God did. God created the heavens and the earth. But before he decided to create the heavens and the earth, he had to make sure he had a manager. We're going to make sure we have a manager. He decided not to manage his own stuff. He says, I'm going to create it all, but I ain't managing it. Somebody else is going to manage it. And I'm going to just give it to him. And then They got to do it. Now, here's the thing. If we're hiring somebody, and this is something I'm actively working on. So I'm sharing all this stuff with you. I'm actively working on, if I hire somebody, how will I know they did the work? One is the result. So I'm hiring you. Well, they may work a certain amount of hours. They might work a certain amount of hours, but here's the thing. The hours are only important if they're not getting the job done. So that means that, okay, this is the result that I'm looking for. I'm looking for this result, and I should see that result in every week or every day, so that when I go and look, oh, there it is. So whether they work 1 hour, 2 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, I don't care how much hours they put in, that result should show up every day. So as we're creating our businesses, we got to create like God, man. God ain't coming back to say, man, God's going to come back and he's going to say, you didn't manage yourself well. Or he's going to come back and say, man, you did a good job, Jake Moore. He says, I'm so glad you came into that healthy accountant thing, because before the healthy accountant, man, you was out of there. He would tell me that. He would say, man, before we swindled you into where you are, because we swindled you. We came to you with exactly what it is that you were looking for. Guys, what are you looking for? Let me ask you a question. What are you looking for in life? And the thing is, God comes right there. That's where he shows up. He's not going to show up where you don't want to do something. He's going to show up right where you are focused on. And he's going to be front and center. But a lot of times we won't understand, what is he preparing for? What is he doing? Like, I didn't know God showed up when God presented me a network marketing opportunity. I didn't know that was God showing up at that time, bringing that opportunity towards me. I didn't know that was him. Well, what he used was the opportunity, because he knew that I was an opportunist. He says, well, that's who this guy is. That's what's on the inside of him. That's what's pushing him all the time. And because it's pushing him all the time, then it's easy. We just show up. We'll show up in a money-making opportunity, because we know our boy, our Japheth, man, he loves a good opportunity. He loves opportunities because he knows he's going far. He knows it. He just doesn't know how to get there. Key thing. I didn't know how until I knew how. Here's the biggest lesson you're going to get this whole year. This whole year, if you manage well, everything's going to be good. Everything doesn't matter what it is. If you think about this, if you manage exactly what you have, you don't have to worry about what you don't have. You have to manage what you do have. If you manage what you do have, meaning you've got skills, you've got talents, you've got money, you've got resources, you've got abilities, you got all these things. If you manage what those things are, if you manage those things today, if you manage them, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. Nothing. That means that because when you're managing, you have to get more things to manage. That's how God works. God's like, well, I'm not giving you no more to manage if you can't manage what you got. He's like, get out of here. I ain't crazy. I'm not going to give you no more money when you can't manage the money that you got. I'm not doing that. God's not going to do that because God can look at you and say, ooh, that money's it's just falling out of his pockets. Why would I give him 1,000 when he didn't manage 100? Why would I give him 100,000 when he didn't manage to 10,000? Why would I give him 1 million when he was having problems with 100,000? Guys, if you ever want to fix a problem, go and look at, what am I managing well? I'm telling you, this is, Dr. Miles Monroe, he taught on this while he was living. I'm gonna tell you, man, he breaks this stuff down in such a way that you're like, whoa, for me, my head just was like, boom, and the fact that I've taken so much time to, just to manage information. Like, I manage information that I get because I get so much information, and I'm a conduit now I actually have to release it every day. I have to release it. And that's what God said. He said, Jay, you have to release this stuff every single day. You just got to let it out because I have something to let out. Hey, good morning, guys. Here's what's interesting. And I'm going to let you go in like 2 minutes. Here's what's interesting about what God does on the inside of you. What he does on the inside of you is that he has something in there that you can feel. Like you can feel like, man, something, man, you may have this thing that you really want to do, and you feel it's calling you. Like for me, just becoming a person that could create things with my words. Like that, for me, that's been like a game changer. What is it in your life? What is it in your life that you could start doing every day where you can manage that thing? So right now I have to do a podcast. I'm managing the information that I get. God wants me to disseminate the information. And I remember I used to get upset. Oh, got a few people on here today, right? And what's going on, Brittany and Sonia? And here's the thing. I was like, man, but God, there ain't nobody listening. He says, I'm listening. Look, I just want to say this. Have you ever been in a situation when you felt like, well, it's not making an impact? Because you always want to make an impact. You always want to know that other people are taking advantage of what it is you think you're giving. And God says, man, I love what you're doing, son. He says, man, I'm talking about you. You remind me of myself. He says, well, you are me. You have me on the inside. Oh my God. He says, man, you good stuff. He says, boy, you are so good. He said, I love you. And I love the fact that you take it and you release it. And what you're releasing is my words. See, God gives you something to manage. And every day, what you have to do. Hey, good morning, Beverly. How are you? Every day we have to take the thing that God gives us to manage. Which for me, he gives me words to manage every day. And sometimes I don't even know what the words are. To be honest, guys, I'm serious. I don't know what the words are. And he says, take the words that I give you today and just let them out. Because those words at the appointed time, that's the key. At the appointed time, Joseph did not get to where he needed to get until the appointed time. Joseph knew he had a dream. He knew something was coming. He had hardship. He had problems. I'm talking about he had some bad things. But here's what Joseph didn't do. If we read the story, there's no evidence of Joseph complaining. There's no evidence. Listen, Joseph was doing good. I'm talking about, just imagine, he's got this good job. He's working for Potiphar. He's working with this guy that's got money, fortune, and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, like, he's offered something. I'm gonna let you go in like 1 minute. He offered something. What did he get offered? He got offered just the opportunity to have Potiphar's wife. Come on, a lot of men would have fell off right here. And that could have potentially canceled out who Joseph was supposed to be. But Joseph, for some reason, he was managing his time well. He was managing his opportunity, and he saw that was not an opportunity for him. He says, wow, that's not good. Let me get out of here. Now I'm going to close out with the ants, because I think the ants is how we started here in Proverbs 6-8. And here's what you want to take away today. Think about the ant today as you look at the things that you have to do in life. Does anybody have to push you to go get the job done? Ant needs nobody to push him. Does anybody have to push you to start preparing for what the job will be? The ant doesn't need anybody to push him or her. I'm not even sure. I mean, I'm sure there's hims and hers. The ant goes and prepares thinking like in a negative way. He's thinking, man, it's sunny out, but we're going to prepare for winter. Oh, in the wintertime, man, we're going to prepare for summer. How many of us do that? I know I wasn't doing it. But as of today, we're all on notice. Management is the key to your success. That's all it is. If you manage what you have, God's going to increase what it is that he's given you. And every time you manage well, there's going to be an increase. So think about the ant. Go read and meditate on Proverbs 6-8. You can also go back in Genesis and read up on, you can go and read up on Joseph again, because that's a class on management. That's what Joseph's class is on management. And then the ants just really makes us look stupid because they don't need anybody. They don't need anybody to do anything. So guys, I appreciate you for joining me for this episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. I'm Jay Moore, the Healthy Accountant, helping you to account for your life. God bless. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, you only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.